did say I was going to make a few vlogs about my experience with using an Android phone in 2024, except I have not exactly been doing a good job at finding the time to do that until right about now, where I'm focused on trying to close my rings simply just by walking in figure eights around the basement. Yes, that is what I do to close my rings. I know, original, right? So I'm currently filming this video on the Pixel 6 Pro, the phone that I switched to for this whole April Android challenge. If you guys want more details, you can go ahead and take a look at the last video on the Gadgets channel where I discussed that I am going to be switching to the Pixel 6 Pro for about a month just to experience what changed with Android in the past how many years I've been away from it, and it turns out literally nothing changed. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the Pixel has been a bad phone, and while some people might think, oh, I've got my preferences, I'm so set in my ways and using the Apple ecosystem, there's no way I'd ever even consider switching. Well, I mean, just so you guys know, it was actually very easy for me to just pop my SIM out of my iPhone XS Max and put it here into this Pixel 6 Pro. It really was that simple. And I still happen to be using some of my other Apple devices, like I use my MacBook all the time because I really hate using my XPS due to Windows. So yeah, I'm still using my MacBook, so leaving iMessage, it's not really that big of a deal. I just message the people who happen to be in the iMessage group chats. Really not that big of a pain. I also still have my Apple Watch tethered to my old iPhone because I don't plan on sticking with Android forever. The whole purpose of the switch was just to experience what Android was like for roughly a month and see if anything has changed. And I will say I'm getting some concluding thoughts, despite that it's only been, 11 days since I started the challenge. It's currently April 11th. Yeah, this is day 11 and I'm making my first vlog. This is also to test out the video recording capabilities of the Pixel 6. In fact, I better make sure it's still recording. Okay, it is. I usually have an issue when it comes to Android phones recording. I'm not having that issue right now, and this is ultimately one of the many reasons why I'm still gonna stick with the iPhone afterwards. Though I have to say, this challenge, it's gotten me out of my comfort zone, and I really am appreciating it because I felt like for the past 4 years when I left Android, I've basically been out of touch, and my knowledge of it hasn't really been solid, and so I thought, okay, let's actually try out Android. And I've been ranting on the Google Pixel series for years, but when the Pixel 6 came out, I thought that, well, it was actually Google trying for the first time, and so that is why I am using the Google Pixel 6 Pro to test out Android for this entire month. And there are some things about the Pixel that I do kind of like. I really like design language that Google has chosen to stick with. Seriously, looking at this visor, it looks a lot more natural than just looking at a messy camera module on the back of my iPhone. I love how cleaned up this camera array is, and just so you know, there's 3 different cameras that I'm looking at right now. There's an ultra wide and the main lens, and also because this is the Pixel 6 Pro, there's also a periscope style telephoto lens. So yeah, I have all 3 different lenses available because this is the Pro model, and I have to say the camera, I've never said it was a bad camera because seriously, photos, they are pretty dang good. I've never given Google Pixel crap for its photos. Their photos have always been really good. The thing was, Pixel has never particularly done well in video, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm testing to see how well does it handle video compared to the iPhone that you guys know I've been using for how many years now. And so this was a bit of a reason why I wanted to do this vlog. It's just to test the video capabilities of it. This is being filmed in 4K at 60. I know I typically don't film my vlogs in 4K, but I need a way to test this camera out somehow, and this is how I'm doing it. But yeah, the things that I really like about the phone, most of it is actually just, well, the fact that Google actually tried to stand out, and I definitely have that feeling with this phone from a hardware perspective. It stands out, and it feels like they tried, but from the software perspective, there's many things that appear to be lacking compared to iOS, because Android is initially designed to be heavily modified, be it by the Android OEMs or by the end user who buys the phone. And because it has to be designed to be as modifiable as it is, there's nothing that really feels special about Android to me, especially considering that the past Android phones that I've been using are like Samsung devices, and Samsung has always had a lot of software packed features in their phones, and this is definitely not that. I mean, this does have some software exclusives that aren't standard on base Android, but a lot of those software exclusives I actually have not really been utilizing at all. Like supposedly the magic eraser thing that's in photo editing and such, I don't use that because I don't like editing doing that type of stuff when it comes to photos, because when it comes to taking photos on my smartphone camera, it's not for the art purposes, it's really just to preserve a memory. And when it comes to preserving memories, I want every single detail in that. Even if it has something blocking the way, or if there's a telephone pole or whatever, I want to preserve every bit of detail. So the Magic Eraser really has no value to me, and I have access to that right now. I could use it if I wanted to, but I don't feel the need to use it. And then there's Google's call screening feature. I have tried that, and I've learned that, you know what, it is incredibly pointless. No, seriously, it is actually very pointless, because when somebody you don't know who's scamming you calls, it's basically ineffective, because Google also has the ability to filter out scam calls, which I have been using a lot. But when it comes to somebody that you do actually want to answer, they just get completely weirded out by the call screening feature. It's not something anybody is used to, so because of that, it's proven to be actually very useless for me. So that's unfortunate. But I guess to sum up the rest of this vlog, this is going to be short because all I'm really trying to do is a video test. To sum up this whole entire vlog here, I wasn't entirely sure how to feel before I actually initiated the challenge. I was a bit nervous because there's many things about my iPhone that I love, and I knew that Android just didn't have. And then also I got a very, very good reminder of how much I truly hate Android's notification management. It drives me nuts how Android users will claim that iOS notification management is worse than Android, but genuinely, and this is coming from a past Android user, I have never found that to be the case. One of the most frustrating things about Android that convinced me to leave was actually their notification system. It was garbage. It felt like it had to tell me the weather every single hour. I don't need to know that. I can look outside if I want to know what the weather is right now. So yeah, it's small things like that. Android really has this need to notify you about every single thing. Meanwhile, iOS, their notifications are much cleaner, and as a result, yeah, I do not like Android notifications. I really hate it. I do not miss that, and that was the number one thing that I was worried about coming back into doing this Android challenge. And for the most part, it hasn't gone completely overboard like my Samsung has, but it still has given me extra useless notifications for things like data transfer. I don't know why they need to stuff it in as a notification, and it doesn't go away until you unplug the device. It also has the need to display that Android Auto is active. Why? But if that's my biggest fear in terms of coming back to Android for a month, then I think I'm doing pretty well. And yeah, Android really is okay to use. So that's really my impression. I'm not really angry or mad at it, but I'm not completely satisfied either. I'm just neutral. I think Android is fine. It's just not for me. But again, this is only day 11. I've still got, 19 more days to go until I can put my SIM card back in my iPhone, because I am sticking to this Android only challenge. I am sticking to only using this Pixel until May 1st. Yeah, that's a little status update of what's going on with Pixel. Thank you for watching. Do me a favor and interact with the stuff below. My name is Alpha DeWolf, Random Alpha, signing out. Thank you.